as I understand, and query selector gives you the choice to include tags, IDs, classes.
But why don't you use the get element by ID here?
Because I would say it minimizes my chances of having an error to link it from an external file like the user management.js. Am I
Um,
What kind of error would that be?
sometimes when I use it on my environment sometimes
Mhm.
does not link as it should. Document by ID and document by tag name.
Okay.
So I feel like query selector is more universal to me and it never hits me with an error.
Okay. I think we can bypass that right now, but I will keep a note and we will explain about the differences in the next session. So yes, thank you.
okay. Just one thing, Elvis, can you keep the tab? So add a tab so it's properly indented.
Okay, I can do that.
You can press the tab directly. Okay, because look, can you use tab?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, exactly, perfect. Okay, so now what do you think you can do?
Now that I have my list item as a DOM element, I can manipulate it however I want, and I can assign whatever values using the inner the text content to show up my results in the HTML page.
Okay, so what do you want to do first?
I want to append my list to the user list element.
Okay, but so if you want to append the list to the user list, how do you do that?
Okay, so because I have my list dash item, my variable, it has properties now that I can use. Like, let's say user list, user list dot append child, because now user list is my element, is my unordered list. So I have to append child.
Can you console log? Okay, just finish the command. Sorry.
Okay, here is the append child. And here I have my list item. Yes. Now, if I pass any text to the list item, I can view it in the console or on the HTML.
Okay, so can you do that? What are you going to use to change the text of the list item?
I will use our inner text
Okay,
property.
yeah.
So list item dot inner text equal to let's say hello.
Okay. And so it's not showing in the right part.
Maybe this is because I declare it after.
Okay, so if you change the order,
It should be working now. Hmm.
okay.
What is my error?
What is the error? Good question. It is inner text. I don't know, maybe that's the inner HTML property you want to change? No. Actually, I'm a bit confused. Costas, do you know what's the problem here?
Can you add me as a collaborator? I just, okay, wait. No, I'm not in.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, let me. Okay, this code sandbox is a little bit buggy.
Okay, you're in now.
Okay.
Okay, there could be.
The first thing I would do would be to open the console and check for errors. And now that would be the real console, not Code Sandbox, because Code Sandbox console is a little bit limited. But the thing that I'm seeing is that we have a code inside the function, but the function is never called. So the code remains.
And yeah, okay, that's kind of. It's kind of stupid. Okay, okay. So if we look at the problems, even in the consoles of the Code Sandbox, we see it's never used, and we can see here as well it's never used. So we just have to call it once. Okay, I'm gonna do a call here. Okay, your code actually worked, Elvis, but wait, why doesn't it work anymore? What?
Okay, it's yeah. Can I answer a question? A quick answer to Patrick's question. Patrick asks which is better, inner text or text counter. They are similar but not the same. They have there are many differences. So there isn't a better, let's say, solution. You have to Google for the differences between text, inner text, and text content. You have to know the differences. So search for the documentation, Google around. I think there is a really good Stack Overflow article explaining the differences. You have to see and learn the differences and then decide which one to use depending on the case. So there's no better, I think, but it's actually upon the context or the case in which we want to use it. But you have to know the differences in order to pick one or the other. So that is concerning Patrick's question. So yes,
okay.
Thank you.
Now, so Elvis, what your code does, it adds one line with the hello. But what we want to do is to display all the users. Okay, so maybe we could start by displaying one user, okay? So how would you display the content of one user?
Okay, so
Let's say you can take users one.
users one. Okay. So users one, this is our array that uses, okay. Will this work if, okay. So inside their inner text, that's where we have to place our.
Okay, and so you can use the get user info function.
Okay, get user info. Oh God. Sorry, my keyboard was stuck in Danish.
Okay.
Get info, users, 1.
Okay, so that's perfect. We have the, I don't know why it disappears every time. Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit buggy sometimes.
It's a bit buggy. Yeah. Okay, so we have one line with the Costas Athena. So we have the info about one user. Okay, but we want all of them. So what would you do to display all of them?
Loop.
Sorry?
I would use a loop.
Okay. So yeah, okay, go ahead. So
Let's try a loop first and if it all works. So right before the function, I'm going to declare a for loop. Declare a variable I to iterate var I 0 and I should be less than users dot length, so we cannot exceed the number, and I will increment I by 1 every time. And now I just have to place my content here and make a few changes that we will see. So I will just comment this out so we don't lose it. And right there, we just have Costas. It disappeared. Why? Okay.
what?
Huh.
It's just because it is a little bit buggy. We need to refresh so the browser
Yeah,
on the
you
right.
can use
So
here.
I'm
Yeah,
not
okay.
sure
So
is
now
your
you
code.
you
Yes.
have Costas Athena 5 times.
Thank you, Elvis. I'm pretty popular as a user.
Okay. Well, let's change that. So right here, I'm hoping this is right, but if I have an I, we should
Whoa,
put everything back.
magic.
It worked, yeah.
And that's it.
One thing before you leave, Elvis, please change the var to let.
Thank you for that.
Yes, that's a good practice. Just try to stick to let or const, and it's better than var.
Okay. So perfect. That's good. So thank you, Elvis. So maybe we can remove that part. And also just one of this one side note, that part when you get the user list item, this can also be done only once because it doesn't change. So if you put it here, your code will still work. Okay.
This is important. Yes, this is for performance reasons. So
yeah, because you don't have to query the document every time to get the user list element, because it's always the same.
Yes, it's a good practice. I can see now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we have the list displayed. So we've seen the for loop using the index, right? Does someone know a way to do the for loop without using the index, the I? Okay, so I'm guessing nobody have seen the alternative to this. Okay, so there's a way to loop.
Just comment this line. Don't remove it for reference purposes.
So I'm going to show you a way of doing what we've just did without using the indexes, because we don't really need the index. Like the index value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is not very important because we're not displaying it. So we can use another for syntax, okay? And so that would be for let's user in users.
Ah, I should have known, man.
Okay. And
Paulin, sorry, just keep that line 22 commented just to have the reference to the old way.
Sorry. Okay.
Was user bracket I.
Okay, so that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're doing now is we're using the for off, okay? And so instead of looping with the indexes, we're looping on the array item, okay? So we're saying, okay, I want for each of the users item, I want a variable called user, and that's going to enter the loop. So instead of using users I here, we can say, okay, get user info of user. Okay. So apparently some of you have had seen that syntax, but for the rest, this is very common. When we don't have to use the index, we can use the simpler version just for let of, and you get that result. Okay. Any questions so far?
So just a quick mention, a quick recap on some of the methods that Elvis used, and maybe some of you haven't seen yet. So document.createElement dynamically creates an HTML element inside JavaScript, inside the memory. So we can dynamically create HTML elements inside the memory with document create element. As an argument, we pass the name of the element, li, p, ul, h1, div, section, etc. And that element lives inside the memory. It's not placed in the document. It only appears in the document once we append it using the append child, which is another method to insert a dynamically created element at the end of the list of elements inside another element. This example is user list. There's a unordered list. So append child means that it searches through the contents of this element, and after the last element, it inserts this element there. So this is a very, very useful and handy way to create elements and place them inside the document using just JavaScript, which is really very powerful.
Okay, well, thanks, Kostas, for the recap. Okay, so to continue, I'm thinking maybe maybe we can see the add user. No, maybe that's going to be too hard. I don't know, Kostas, what do you think? So maybe for today, because we won't have time. I don't know, Kostas, do you think it's better to see the inputs and the button?
So we have an input, you enter an, okay, maybe we can see an example with a single input field. For example, I enter my name, I click a button, add, and it's added to the list. And then as an exercise, they can also add the surname and the age. And for the sake of this class, the current level, let's say, I would ask you to use the on change event, or the the inline attributes, on click, on change, or whatever you use, because we're not, let's say, ready yet for add event listener.
Yeah, of course. Okay,
So I mean, whatever event you would like to use, just use the inline attribute on something.
Okay, so now the next instruction is to add an input field, okay, and a button. And when we click the button, it adds a user in the list, okay? So to do that, first we can, add an input. So is anyone familiar with the syntax on how to add an input text?
They should be at this point. There should be a test at this point on how to create an input. Okay, Rami, can you?
Sure thing.
Okay.
Okay, Rami, you are here, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So now you can
Okay.
edit.
I am trying to get there. Perfect. Okay, hopefully I haven't created these in a while.
They haven't changed. Oh, okay. You don't. You're not gonna need the form
Okay.
this time. Okay. Okay. Good.
What else did we want?
So that's going to be good. Just we want to get that value from that input at some point. So maybe you want to give it an ID.
And a button, maybe.
Oh, yes, of course. But just add
Yeah,
the ID for the... Okay.
The
And
name.
okay. Okay. And then you want to add a button.
Just this submit button.
Okay. Or you can call it... Yeah.
ID of.
So for the button, you don't need the ID.
Okay.
You can just add a non-click property.
Come on.
Yeah, on click. Okay, and now, okay, and that part we need to code it.
Okay.
So
Adding
maybe
that later.
okay.
Okay.
So once you have that in the on click, let's say you want to call add user method. Okay. But that method doesn't exist yet. Okay, so now with the code that you've written, if we click here, boom, we get an error. Add user is not defined.
Okay. Should I add the add user?
Exactly. So that's that part. So the add user is a function.
Am I doing it or should someone else do it?
Yeah, you can do it. Function function.
Come on. Okay, and what parameter are we getting?
We're getting no parameters because we
true.
need to get the name value from the HTML. So, okay.
Just describe as you go, Rami.
Okay, I was going to go describe what he.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rami is getting the, I guess the text input element.
By name and that. Here was 1 second.
It's the okay.
Yeah, that value.
Yeah, value exactly. Okay, so that means you're getting the value of the input element, and now we want to add a new. We want to create a user with this, right? So we have the create user function.
Okay,
so
and
you
then
need to use it.
So return.
Okay. So what we want to do is we want to create a user. Okay, so first you can use the create user function, and then we want to add that user to the array. So the add user function doesn't return any value. It just add a
I see
user
that.
object to the array.
Okay, so I guess I'll create a user by adding. But the thing is, create a user takes 3 values.
Oh yeah, of course. But what you can do is just you use create user, use the name as the first name, okay, and surname and age will be the same. Or surname you can put. We're gonna add only brothers, so they all have SHA as a surname.
Okay, so I'm gonna just call create user.
Okay, so take care. It's outside the function.
True.
And we already have a function create user.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, create
Sorry,
user. I need to set this that.
Do you need to? Okay, why not? You can create a variable, but are you going to use the value of that variable afterwards?
Sorry?
Can maybe you can just put the document get element by ID value inside the create user.
Oh, okay.
Okay, no, okay, maybe it's not. It's simplification too much. Okay, let's keep what you were doing. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay. But here, should we just make something up?
Yeah, exactly. So I was saying, I don't know, Athena. It's going to be Costas Brothers.
I think maybe it is a good time now to use the null value. So since we don't have a value and we don't want to arbitrarily add Athena, just add null on these 2 values.
Okay. We can
and then
set it as a also. Okay, no.
And then the exercise for you would be to replace the null value with a.
Okay, and you need to. There's just a syntax error here, but okay, it's fine.
Okay.
And okay, so what's up now if you press the add user button?
So add user on click add user.
Oh,
okay.
Maybe I can show with since I have the screen sharing. So here we are.
It doesn't work right now. It's 70.
What? Why?
Add user is not defined.
First parameter, I think it's wrong. We need to write first name. In the there.
It's fine.
We are taking it from here, so it doesn't really matter what we are writing.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, okay.
That user is not
to make it more proper, we could do that. But no, what's weird is we're not having the. Why don't we have the link?
Is not defined. Okay. Stick to this screen. Yes.
As the script is defined too late.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So I can put it in the.
Taking it up.
Now
I think that's going to work like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. True.
What? That's odd.
Maybe refresh again on the. I don't know. This should be. Okay. What else? On click add user. User management. Let's see the user management again. Add user. We do have that user, but it's.
Could that be a bug of?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking right now. Let me. Okay, let's. Add user is not defined. Probably that's the case because I don't see any typos or.
I don't. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Should we call it already in the JavaScript to make it work?
We are calling it through the HTML, through the button. So
in that part, yeah.
Return statement.
Add user.
May this be the problem? No return statement. No return.
No, that's fine to have no return statement.
No, it's like I think we hit the bug. I'm not sure. I cannot really. Source management. On click, add user. I think it's the way Code Sandbox works in these cases.
Maybe some editing.
What?
Some editing to put it down or to recognize it. So
User.
add
I don't know.
the
If I reload the page, maybe.
I reloaded it and there was nothing.
Okay.
I'm not there anymore.
But yes, this is probably due to Code Sandbox. So one thing you can do, Paul, and show it to everybody, you can go to File on the menu. File on top. And export to zip. So here you download the Code Sandbox. And once it's downloaded, you can unzip it and run it on the local system to see if we're hitting a bug or maybe. So if it doesn't work on your local system, I guess we have a bug ourselves. Otherwise,
why? Okay. No, there's
cannot append child.
Why is it even more buggy?
Okay, okay, can you refresh just to?
Have we pushed it into the array?
Append child of none. User child. Yes, okay. So we moved the code upwards, so it cannot find at that point the element.
True. Okay.
Yes. So.
Okay. So no. So
just move it. Let's move the script back to the before the button. Just before the button. After the input, and let's just check. You can check it on Code Sandbox right now. Let's see if it works on.
No.
Just no. So this is real coding. This is what.
Okay, so now it works. So wait. Okay. So I don't have the error anymore. Sorry. So it doesn't crash, although it doesn't add something to the list. But that is for a reason. Okay. If we go back to the Code Sandbox and look at our function. Here we create a user, okay, but we don't add it to the array. Can everybody understand what's going on? So here's I'm displaying the HTML file from my computer, but when I click here, it doesn't show anything. It doesn't add anything. Can someone tell me what's missing in that function?
We need to call the display user as well.
Okay, so that will refresh everything, but I think there's something else missing. Because
sorry, can you ask the question again?
Okay, the problem is even if we do display users here, okay, when we're going to click here, it's going to refresh everything, but we won't have the new line in the list. And I'm asking,
are we actually adding it? Can we see if we have added it?
Exactly. We're missing the adding part. And how would that be done? Okay, I'm gonna tell you because that's new to you. We used the push
Yeah,
method, our method. Okay.
forgot about that part.
So we can do something like this. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think this is still buggy. Okay, so I'm going to download the package again so you can show you the example.
And since we have to wrap up, unfortunately,
Yeah.
I think there are some good challenges for the students right now to fix in the code. So we can describe and talk about what's happening about this exact.
Oh.
This is interesting.
This is
So
interesting.
this is what we want you to fix. So instead of adding a new name, but then repeating the whole list, we just want to see only the students that we submitted. So this will be the exercise for you.
Okay. Wait, yeah. Sorry. Continue, Kostas.
No. Yes. So the code right now just adds a student, but then also appends the whole list again and again. So for you, the exercise will be to make this work as expected, not seeing the list again and again, but just the name that we just added. For example, this is not working at the end. And also to create a delete button. But I'm not sure about the delete button. It's quite
That might be,
difficult.
yeah, it's going to be too hard.
Yeah, no.
But,
So just fix this code so that it works as we want it. So just add a new user,
okay.
but we also need the surname and the age. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna correct the
Yes.
instructions part to be fixed. Add surname and age inputs and take them into account when adding a new user. Okay. Then there was the problem of fix the display users function. So it only displays the content of the array. What it does now, it appends list item to the list. So every time we refresh, it just adds more items. Okay, but that's not what we want. We just want one list. This is what we see here, right? We should only be seeing one list, and here we see like 3 or 4. Okay.
Each one bigger than the other. So yeah.
So it refresh the list content, not not increase it. What's the word in English? Not add contents to it. Okay, so that's good enough, I think, for practice.